Is that samba drums I hear in the distance? Today, we're paying homage to the country that's rich in culture, home to beautiful ecosystems, and of course, delicious cuisine. The pão de queijo is fresh out of the oven as Brazil takes over Epcot on today's episode of Idiot's Guide to Imagineering, starting now. Benvindo, my fellow Imagine Idiots, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 20. World Showcase is getting a little bigger on today's episode, but before we jump in, I do want to say oi to my fellow Imagine Idiots, Estavo a Marissa.
Oh, tudo bem.
Oi, tudo bem.
Obrigado.
Você é o amor da minha vida.
Wow.
I just had tudo bem. That's all I had.
That means
so
you are the
impressed.
love of my life. That was taught to me many years ago by someone who
remember.
wanted me to say that to them. So
Thank you. That's so
forgot.
nice.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, I looked up your name and Marissa's name in Portuguese, and you had a translation. Sadly, Marissa did not. So I just gave it an
There is no-
accent in there.
No, you did
For you.
good. I feel like I don't know it's necessarily in Portuguese, but I know in Spanish it's just Marisa. So
Mm.
There you go.
close enough.
Okay. Well, with summer in full swing, we are happy to be your travel buddies today. You know, just tagging along on your road trip, bringing fun and fresh ideas. And with all this traveling, don't forget, you can connect with us outside the show too and be our real life besties. If you're not already following, head on over to Instagram and find us at Idiots Imagineering. We have a fun little community over there, and we love connecting with all of you.
Yeah, you guys are our people, and it's just been so awesome getting to know all of you. And if you're loving the show, make sure you never miss an episode by following us on whatever platform you're listening to us on right now. 5-star reviews are always welcome. Hint, hint. So leave us a 5-star review, please.
Please.
Yeah, we really do love hearing what you think about the show. And that reminds me, we actually got a really fun message on our website from our listener, Nicole, which actually couldn't be timed more perfectly with the recent closing of our beloved Muppet Nation. Muppet Vision.
Muppet. I mean, it's
Ooh.
always
I was-
Muppet Nation.
I
around
was
here.
thinking of a salute to all nations, but mostly America. That's what I was thinking
Okay.
of.
True.
So Nicole shared, I just found your podcast and I'm listening to back episodes. The one about the Muppet Land that never came to be mentioned the paintings on the pipes. The original is in 30 Rock in the NBC studios on the 8th floor. I worked there and we did a weekend sports show. It was a really cool thing that few people knew about.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I know.
so
I love that one of our
crazy
listeners
that
saw that.
She
It's like
told us that.
an Easter egg or anecdote
Yeah.
we never would have known if we didn't have this show. So it's so cool.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Nicole. Marissa and I had so much fun researching the project and finding out little cool details that Imagineers wanted to incorporate in the space. And it's so awesome that you actually knew and saw exactly what we talked about. So thanks so much for listening, and we so appreciate your support.
Yeah, and if you want to catch that episode to know exactly what Nicole and the rest of us are talking about, you can head on over to Season 2, Episode 13. It was a really good canceled episode with Katie and Marissa.
And since we're World Showcasing it up this week,
Ooh, my favorite place to go.
I know,
Okay.
mine too. I have a prompt for us. So if you could add one additional country to the setup, what are you putting there? And I need to know the staple item or something that has to go in. And spoiler alert for today, we're bringing Brazil, if you couldn't already tell with my amazing Portuguese. We cannot pick this one. So I'll go
Fine.
first. I know, this was hard. And to the listeners, I also forgot to give an answer to this in advance, so I had to think of this on the fly right now.
Hmm.
But I'm going to say Costa Rica. I feel like that would be a really fun,
good one.
it would be a really fun experience to go. Amazing food. Obviously, another place with really cool ecosystems. I think it'd be so cool if you had some like walking rainforest simulation that you could go through and you could see like different birds and things like that. Like we don't really have anything like that in Epcot, and I thought maybe that would be like a unique, cool experience and get a feel for it. You could see like tree frogs or different things like that.
Yeah.
That'd be so
It would be so cool if there was like a zip line type attraction or something
Oh,
that could like take
yeah.
you through it or something. Or maybe
Yeah,
there's
I
like
know.
like an actual zip line. Like you could do like a ropes course or something through the jungle. That would be really
Yeah,
fun.
like right through the pavilion. Just
Yeah.
zoom on by.
We just
Zoom
walk
on over
We
the
just
World
watch
Showcase Lagoon
that.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
and
our
land in the
own-
jungle.
It's our own version of Spider-Man and Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
You, the viewer. Well, Marissa, what about you?
I'm going to go with Peru.
Okay.
Oh,
Did I steal that from you,
Aw.
Stephen?
No, I had
No.
I had another one.
Okay. So I've probably mentioned before, my husband was born in Peru, and I'm basically Peruvian by adoption now into his family. But it really sounds like such an incredible country between all the different landscapes. So you have like Lima, that's like a city. You have, oh my
Cusco.
God. Cusco. What's the big thing there?
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Thank you. It's pregnancy brain, and I'm not pregnant, so it's mom brain.
Leftover pregnancy, right?
So yeah, so you have Lima, that's like a city. You have Cusco, which is up in the mountains. You have Machu Picchu, which everyone has seen and heard of before. So if I were to bring it there, in addition to all the good food, mostly ceviche, I would have like a
Yeah.
reconstructed Machu Picchu, and you
Oh,
could
yeah.
ride alpacas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Live
Llamas. Yeah, it's going to be a llama
Wow.
alpaca
Wait.
riding experience to Machu Picchu, or we could just turn it into an attraction and save the animals. But
And the attraction can be Emperor's New Groove.
done.
Pretty much.
Sold.
I just gave that
Wow.
to Disney.
Machu Picchu has always, like, since I was very young, I remember thinking that was like the number one place I ever wanted to go. And I still haven't been there, but
Yeah.
someday maybe we'll do
Let's do
a
it.
group trip with your husband.
Yeah, that's
Can
why-
you-
You can
can
be
you
our tour
guide us?
guide.
Yeah, that's why I was like, Steven, did I steal yours? Because you've talked about going to Machu Picchu ever since I've
always
known
wanted
you.
to go there. Yeah, someday.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for Miguel.
Yeah.
I think it's because
There
you
we
like to
go.
say the word Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
And I'm there for the llamas, of course, and the cool hats.
I want the
What they're
ceviche.
called. You what?
I want the ceviche.
That too.
I'm hungry.
All right, Steven. So you're not going to Peru, but
No.
what are you adding to the World Showcase?
I'm taking us to the other side, of course.
Ooh.
I think Thailand.
I
Would
thought you
be-
would say that.
Thailand would be
Oh, cool.
so cool. You could go so immersive with that. When we
Yeah.
did a Southeast Asia resort. It was episodes 6 and 7 of season 1. It was one of the things that Amanda and I did it together. We were so excited about that project that it carried over into 2 episodes. So
Yeah.
I just think Thailand is just such a place that I think a lot of people want to see, that's so far away from us that
Mhm.
a lot of people don't get that opportunity to see. And now with like White Lotus and everything, it's like become even
Yeah.
more of a, more eyes on it. So I think it would be really cool. And whatever you could do with elephants there, that's what I want to bring to it.
The culture, the food, all of it. I'm praying that I get to
Mhm.
go there next year. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
you can
More to
do
come.
it. We believe in you.
I'm manifesting it now.
I want to come.
Come on down, girl.
Okay, we'll first go to Thailand, then we're going to go to Peru, and
gotta-
then
we
take
gotta
it to
book some
Costa
flights.
Rica, and that's it. We're
Mhm.
doing an
Bring it on.
Idiots World Tour.
Yep.
Listeners,
meet all our
y'all are
listeners out
invited.
there.
Yeah,
It's such an easy trip to go to all of those places at once, too.
Yeah,
So.
it's short.
We can do like a
quick
long
and-
weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, no big deal. One country
3-day
a day.
weekend. We got.
Yep. Perfect.
Well, it's time for our Imagineering Project of the Week. For those joining us for the first time, each week our team selects a project manager to develop a thoughtful strategic proposal for a new or updated Disney park, resort, or experience. Our ideas are grounded in reality, taking into account current technology and park layouts. While we're mindful of budget considerations, we're not limited by them, allowing for informed creativity that fits within the Disney brand. This week's project manager is Katie.
Some might say the holidays are their favorite time of the year. Some might say the sun and sunshine of summer. Some might even say spooky season. And while yes, I'm one of those spooky people, it's not just because of Halloween, but also because it's food and wine festival time at Epcot. I dream of the time of year I can easily find pão de queijo and my absolute favorite, feijoada, all within Disney. Luckily, being in Orlando, we have a huge Brazilian presence here, so I can easily grab these staples whenever I want. But for many Disney travelers, that's not the case. But there's so much more than amazing food that makes up Brazil. I feel like we need the presence of this bright, lively culture, but I don't want it limited to just a food and wine stand. So it's also important to note we haven't gotten a new country in World Showcase since 1988 with the
That's
addition
wild.
of Norway.
Yeah, that's sad.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We need some more energy. We did sort of get a temporary pavilion of sorts with the Millennium Village. That's kind of the only time they really added something. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. I actually did not, but it was a small area that showcased different countries, and it was only in existence from 1999 to 2001.
So I went to that thing. Was that the thing where they had the big head people? Hold on.
That's like early Epcot.
That wasn't the Millennium Village with the big head country things. Are you sure?
I don't remember the big head country things.
All right. Well, I'm going to find it and we can add it to our board if it is.
Okay.
I'll figure this out.
Detective Marissa on the case. Well, funnily enough, Brazil was one of the countries that was featured in the temporary exhibit. So the food, the music, the folklore, there's so much life this country could bring to the area with a permanent location. And well, people, today we're finally doing it. Brazil is coming to Epcot.
Oh, it's time.
I know.
I feel like this has been like rumored in and out for decades, and we're tired of the rumors. We're putting them to bed.
And Disney has such a huge presence with Brazilian travelers, so it really this would be such a cool draw to bring people in. So I'm really surprised that they haven't thought of this sooner or done this sooner, I guess. I'm sure they thought of it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Disney has strategically kept areas throughout World Showcase open for possible expansions. There was an Epcot Phase 2 project that was planned back in the 1980s, and it was so thought out that Disney actually had press releases announcing the plans. They announced Spain, Venezuela, the State of Israel, and Equatorial Africa as officially part of the project. However, there were various reasons why it didn't move forward. And actually, for Spain, it involved their government changing hands and also losing interest in the project. So ultimately, these spaces never came to light, which is kind of interesting because they do rely heavily on support from different investors and government groups for them to go forward. So it's kind of interesting to see that one government thought this would be a great exposure for them and the other just thought, nah, we're okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Well, we're left with some pretty decently sized locations to house our new pavilion. I'm not sure if you knew this, but there's actually enough size for 2 pavilions in between the Germany and Africa West Outpost.
Oh.
That kind of makes sense, actually.
Yes. It goes pretty far back. Yeah, it's actually decent. And we'll include this as well. I have a map down below in the outline if you guys want to take a look that actually shows some of the unused plots that are still available scattered throughout, and we can post that on our Instagram. But when I was thinking of how to make this country work, I wanted to make sure we had enough space for an attraction and a food and beverage location. I want people to spend a decent amount of time in this space. I think when we talk about some of our favorite pavilions, they're ones that really have a lot to do. I know, like Marissa and I talk about Japan, we love it. It doesn't have a attraction in there, but I think the store, in a sense, is kind of like an attraction itself. There's like interactive things to do.
Well, I hate to disagree because earlier this season, we did add an attraction to Japan.
Oh, you're right.
So as far as I'm concerned,
you are right.
Bullet Train to Mount Fuji is a real...
Actually, you're right.
Ride.
What am I thinking? I ride it every day in my mind.
That's right. How dare you?
Yes. And also, I feel like we waited a really long time for a new country to come in here. So it needs to be good. We need to have people wanting to spend their time and go out of their way to this location.
You know, I also have to note here that we've made this our mission and we've talked about it, and we had help from Tyler a couple episodes back, but we were going to fill in all of the countries around World Showcase with some new attraction or something new to see. And now you're adding a country, so you're just really making more work for us.
Jinx.
So thanks.
Yeah, well,
that's supposed to be Stephen's job, not yours.
That's always my job. So I'm proud of you. Maybe I'm rubbing off on you.
I'm getting to work early. I'm starting early.
Here she goes.
Yes. Well, back to our location. So again, you'll be able to see this on the map. Slots 1 and 2 actually fit between this area. So between Germany and the African outpost. So I plan to take slot 2, which butts up next to Germany, and expand it a little bit into slot 1, which is the area closest to the outpost. I'll leave some space for available for Disney in case they want to expand the outpost area a little bit further into maybe like a mini pavilion in the future. I'm very thoughtful in those situations.
That would be nice. Wow, there's a spin-off episode of this if Katie does African Outpost, the sequel.
I love to put like ideas within ideas. Remember, I put in the bird aviary.
That's how this show goes haywire.
Yeah,
we just start working on one, we come up with another. It just
10 hours
How it
later,
goes. Exactly.
we're still
Still
talking.
haven't finished the first project.
Yeah. Well. Well, before I jump in, I do want to say I spoke with one of my good friends when creating this space to get different looks and feel for the area. So my friend is actually from Brazil. So she let me know there's a lot of European, in particular, obviously Portuguese influence architecture. And then as well, there's more modern looks when you go within the major cities. However, she mentioned an area, Aeropuerto, and I apologize for my pronunciation because I'm not always the best at everything. But this is actually a small town about 300 miles north of Rio de Janeiro. And it was founded in the 18th century and features a heavy style of Baroque architecture. So it's lots of tan orange brick roofs, white buildings with colorful accent pieces along the building trims and the doors and windows. So I thought this area would give a really unique feel. There's also beautiful dome-like roof structures on more of the opulent buildings. And actually, this area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I thought this would be a cool main landing point for the theme of our pavilion today.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like unexpected, but still like authentically and uniquely Brazil.
Yeah, I thought it would kind of be obvious to do like Sao Paulo or Rio,
Right,
but
yeah.
I thought the architecture of this was like a little bit more unique and different.
Just
so I thought
looked
it'd
it
be a
up.
cool
It's
focus.
really pretty.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to include that as well. But I wanted to feel like you've stepped right inside this area when you enter the pavilion. So this space will be open with seating available. We'll have regular live entertainment as well. And I love how there's always a signature musical group or band in some of the countries.
Yeah.
So here we'll have live gaucho music, which is Brazilian folk music, and that'll play in the evening. We'll have live guitars with cast members dressed in traditional gaucho appearance or kind of like cowboy appearance. And then during the early afternoons, we'll have live samba where traditional dancers will allow guest participation, teaching them how to dance in the style. So imagine you're sitting outside, sipping your capybaras, listening to music while your kids are off learning to dance.
What do you mean, kids? Hold on.
While your
'Cause
Steven is
know-
off learning to dance.
You know, I'm the first one up.
Yep.
I sent them videos of me
Dragging
dancing.
all of
They were
us.
teaching choreography at Tokyo Disney Sea, and I'm out there doing the
You sure
moves and making
did.
everybody film me do it. I gotta post
Yep.
that too. But yeah, don't say kids.
Yeah. Watching your Steven learn to dance. And while the outside of our pavilion will have a unique look and feel of a certain area, the inside will transport you to different parts of Brazil. So to the left, running down the side of the pavilion will be a space that guests can enter. And welcome to Mercado Municipal.
Ooh.
This is inspired by the Mercado Municipal de Sao Paulo, which is actually a famous indoor market that's really uniquely designed. So inside of the market, they have like really cool stained glass windows, Roman-like white pillars. And I thought this would be a really cool look for
Okay.
what our market will be.
Yeah, I'm getting the chills just thinking about like standing in there and like the way the light's gonna hit the stained glass, and it's like you're gonna
Yeah.
feel like you're there.
It's very cool. So there will be stands where guests can purchase sous vides. But of course, these will be traditional to what you'd find in small Brazilian markets like art pieces and other local inspired trinkets. And I want to also ensure that we have staple food items, music, and even entertainment from around the country. And that's one thing my friend really mentioned when I told her I had this idea, that there's just so many different unique cultures and identities that make up Brazil. So I didn't feel like it's fair to limit just one of them in this experience. So we're going to get it
Agreed.
all. So in our Mercado, we'll have quick service food and beverage spots, if I can speak today. So in here, you'll find staples like, again, pão de queijo from the Southwest. And if you're looking for something sweeter, we've got brigadeiros, which are my
Ooh.
favorite. They're life-changing, like fudge type
Ugh,
balls.
They're
They're
so
so
good.
yeah.
I can't not miss saying acai, so of course we will have that. And then cartola, which is another dessert. And then feijoadas cannot be left out. So of course you'll find the staple from the Southwest topped with that amazing pork belly.
I'm
Ooh.
in. I'm
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah, that
And
all
since
sounds
I've already
great.
got you hungry, why don't I just take you to the rest of the main food and beverage area while we're here?
Let's go.
That's all
Let's do it.
we ever want when we
Mhm.
go on an adventure. Food.
It's true. That's usually where I'm picking like my vacation spots is based around like the food and the cuisine and what I can get when I'm there.
Yep.
So always thinking.
Mhm.
I love to eat. So food is top of my mind when I think of Brazil. And of course, we need to have a full service food and beverage location. Brazil is known for its cattle production and amazing steak options. So with that in mind, I felt like an obvious choice was to put in a churrascaria. And I also feel like putting something in that probably most guests are familiar with, but is also super true to the region, can broaden the amount of guests that will come and want to dine in here. So I feel like Go ahead.
I'm salivating.
Yeah.
I'm picturing giant meat skewers coming to my table and serving me up.
Yep. We're ready for you.
Staked out for the stakeout, if you know what I mean.
It'll be a meat fest of epic proportions.
Yes. Meat Fest 2025.
Do I need to beep that out?
No. We call
it's a sausage party like we've never seen before.
I love a sausage fest. Lost it. Well, so I scoured the subs of Reddit to find local restaurants with beautiful surroundings and ambience, as well as amazing food. One of the places that kept popping up was called Assador, which is in the Rio de Janeiro area. And one of the most amazing features of this place is really the view. And they have a few walls that are floor-to-ceiling windows that look out into the ocean. Once you step inside this restaurant, you're actually entering a whole new area, the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So on the right side of the pavilion will be the entrance that looks like every other part of it. However, once you check in with the hostess and your table is ready, we're now entering into the next room where we're taken to a tropical hideaway where a smorgasbord of meat awaits you. Bem-vindo a Malpassado. And Malpassado actually means rare in Portuguese, and to me, also the best way to order your meats. But don't worry, Marissa, we'll serve all sorts of temperatures at Malpassado, so you can get your shoe leather.
Okay, so you just said something that really made me think of a way you could tie in your favorite attraction. You said tropical hideaway, and it made me think of the tiki room. Which isn't one of the birds Brazilian? Jose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe you could somehow like maybe subtly include him in to this restaurant.
Maybe he's our logo of it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then he's in there. Or maybe he's like sitting on a perch as you walk inside the restaurant to greet you. Oh, that's a really good idea. See, this is why we work so well together.
Collab.
Yeah. So this place has the tropical vibes, dark wood floors, chairs, tables, and then light-colored wood slats on the ceilings and accents throughout. But my piece de resistance is the floor-to-ceiling glass walls in the back corner. And I say glass walls in quotes. So these will actually be floor-to-ceiling, like micro LED screens that will actually depict the view of outside the restaurant. So of the restaurant that I'm replicating.
So it's like Space 220 Brazilian style.
Mm-hmm. So we've recorded this area to piece together like a day of footage. So this will be the best cloudless views, an immaculate sunset, the twinkliest twinkle night sky. So that's right. The outside will change and flow as it does throughout the day. So this will obviously heat up the demand for sunset dining reservations.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a really cool way to make you feel like you've stepped into Rio, even if it's just for dinner.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like you really will feel outside because when you walk from outside to inside, it's still going to look the same.
Yes. Yeah, so it'll feel like you're there and then we've got the whole vibes going.
Nice.
Well, yeah. So, and of course, there will be steak skewers galore and different kinds of meats and things like that. And we'll have some traditional desserts, but it'll be a fun vibe for everybody. And you will not leave hungry. I can guarantee that.
And what was the name of it? Meat Fest?
Meat Fest 2025 or Malpassado. You're choosing whichever name has a better catch to it.
Yeah. We'll poll the audience.
Yep. Well, back outside the streets of Aeropuerto, we'll have a takeaway bar just outside of Malpassado where there'll be chairs and tables to sit and relax while watching the live music and dancing. And of course, we'll serve capybaras, which is one of the more popular Brazilian drinks. We'll also have batidas, which is kind of like a fruit smoothie milkshake like cocktail, and bossa nova, just to name a few.
Okay. Those all sound good.
Yeah.
Well, halfway down the right side of Brazil, at the end of our takeaway bar, will lead to the queue area and the entrance of our main attraction. So Brazil is known to have really unique and lively folklore that embodies their love that they have for their home. So I wanted to incorporate one of the more famous stories into the theme of the ride, which led me to finding about caipora. She is seen as a protector of wildlife, and Brazil is known for having beautiful ecosystems, and the people are really proud of it. And that's the vibe I felt when I was speaking to my friend about it. I really got that. Like, there's just such a pride of everything that is from Brazil and all the different regions, and they have just such unique feelings for it.
Yeah.
And shout out, we have a lot of Brazilian listeners. I notice we get a lot of downloads from Brazil. So shout out to all of our Brazilian fans. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take an adventure with Caipora through the beautiful Iguaçu Falls, into the Atlantic forest, and finally deep within the Amazon rainforest. And it's here we'll learn about the wonders of these ecosystems and how necessary they are to our life in every way. So with Caipora as our guide, we'll feel safe to go even further into the wild.
I really like this. It's just so...
Yeah.
It's like such a learning experience and culturally, like, interesting.
Yeah. When I looked it up and I saw Caipora and the backstory, I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is such a cool way and very true to Disney.
Like it was made for this.
Cute.
Yeah. I feel like Disney always loves like a conservation with a message and everything. So I felt like this was a really good route to go through. So I do love a little action. So naturally, this won't just be a leisurely ride about town. We're, of course, going to run into some hunters. We must protect the wildlife and get them out of here. And yes, this is totally a nod to the Ghost of Kilimanjaro Safari Past.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Love her.
We'll work together to help Caipora chase the hunters out of the forest to preserve our planet another day. So how are we going to make this happen? Well, at first I thought it would be cool to have a dark ride, Indiana Jones style, but then I Googled the size of the ride and it's about 58,000 square feet, which is roughly the size of the Norway Pavilion.
Like the entire pavilion?
Yep. Which will be
okay, good.
Brazil will be slightly larger than this space, but definitely not to allow a ride of that size. So I also want to be mindful of the amount of guests the attraction could hold, as I want this to be more of an e-ticket type attraction. And I think it actually has the potential to be one that's really exciting that a lot of guests want to do. So I felt like the best way to maximize this space is with a screen ride. But I basically want this to be like, if Flight of Passage came today, how would it be improved and grown upon? So instead of riding banshees, we're actually going to be riding capybaras.
Oh my God.
The mental image I just got of me strapped on
better.
top of a capybara is insane.
Don't worry, it gets better. So I know it's ridiculous, and capybaras don't actually get that big, but these aren't regular cappies. Since Caipora can feel our intense love of wildlife, she's giving us special cappies, typically not visible to the untrained human eyes. Ones that just so happen to be the size of horses and can fly.
This is insane.
Listen, with Muppets closing, I'm really trying hard to not lose my rainbow connection. So just go with it.
Have I told you guys about my student who's obsessed with capybaras? So that's all I'm thinking about right now. I've learned so much. I have learned so much about capybaras this year from this one student. So I'm ready to go.
Wow. I should have consulted you in making this ride to make sure I was getting some of the facts in there, but
I have his mom number. I can text her and make sure that she can get him to confirm or deny.
Okay, perfect. Get her on the line.
Perfect.
Well, of course, we'll get a riding helmet, and this will be kind of an AR visor. So as we take off, the room comes alive as we travel throughout Brazil. So we'll be able to feel like we're really there, and things will be projected around us. And I really want this to feel, because we don't have a ton of space, I don't want to lose the ability to move throughout Brazil and really feel like we're in there and be, I hate to use this word, but immersive. And we do have a special rope, which is attached to our cappy, and it's kind of like a stick, but we're going to use this like a rope. So to grab a tree, pull us out of some mud, or help grab things for Caipora to get the hunter away. So,
At first, when you mentioned the rope, I was picturing like we were dangling a stick with like a carrot in front of the capybara to like make it go, to like drive it, like turn it right, and it turns right, and you turn it.
Actually, that's a pretty good idea.
That's how you steer your cappy.
No, what I was thinking back was I remember at Disney Quest, they had this room that was like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like visual, like game one. And I remember you could like do things that like interacted with the screen and it would like recognize things. And I thought it would be a cool way to have that where it's like, okay, we need to do this. So you will need to like move through and use that stick and be interactive with it. And I was trying to think of a way also like how Smuggler's Run is, depending on what you are steering and where you're going, stories change. So I wanted something like this to happen as well. So we'll be staying in the room the whole time, but we will move and jump with our Cappy guide. So as we make our way through the different regions, we'll be able to feel our Cappy move, and he may even give us a shake or two as we splash our way through the falls. And so again, this will be interactive. So you need to use that rope when Kaipora instructs us to do so.
Oh,
cool.
I love this.
Yeah, I thought it's a really fun, cool idea and a great way to teach about conservation as well, making it fun.
I'm obviously seeing entertainment and merchandising opportunities here. And I'm thinking like, what if there is like a meet and greet with Kaipora, or there's like a capybara mascot type creature that you could meet.
Like
and think about the capybara merchandise you could sell, the plushes, the keychains, the keeches.
Gold mine.
There's like a million
keeches.
things.
Your Cappy Labubu's.
Cappy boo boo.
Cappy boo boos. Capoo-boos. I love it.
Yeah. You could do a lot with this.
Yeah. Overall, this ride will be about 5 minutes and we'll have 6 rooms of 16. So the hourly throughput will be about 768. So not too bad.
That's really good because World Showcase, especially with our help, is stacked with attractions now. So
Epcot's
it doesn't
the
have
premier.
to be like the biggest people eater.
No, it's a premier theme park now. We've made it a top tier. It rivals the best.
Thanks. You're welcome, Disney.
Yep. We'll take our payment in the form of free capybaras.
Yeah. Just invite us to the opening of this event when you actually take this idea and create it.
Perfect.
This is off topic, but there is a capybara cafe in St. Augustine, Katie. Can we go to it?
I've heard. Yes, of course we can.
I want to go so bad. I think one of our friends went when she was on a trip there.
Someone I know went to it recently, so I feel like we need to. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Road trip. All right. Well, we've discussed in the past that World Showcase can work as a way to expose the average Disney traveler to a world they may not have seen otherwise, and can even inspire them to go visit. I know for us personally, it has. So it was important that I make sure the Brazilian pavilion really embodies that spirit. And it was difficult to really pick one region because they're all truly unique, even with the culture, even down to the architecture, really. So I thought this was a unique way to tie it all together and embrace all of those differences and give you kind of a taste of what everything is about over there. And people have been asking for this edition for years. And to that, I say a food and wine festival stand is simply not enough anymore. This is a unique way to honor the people of Brazil by making it fun and engaging and, of course, delicious. I also thought throughout the year you could even have changing or seasonal entertainment takes like carnival-inspired parade shows or even Bomba Me Boi, which is traditionally like an interactive play. So their culture is so fun and unique and has so much like creativity around it. So I thought this would be a great way, like, let's celebrate it. Let's bring it in and bring that area alive.
And like on the surface level, when I think of Brazil, I think of high energy, lively. And I think like that is what needs to happen in World Showcase because you've got a lot of culture there and a lot of experience, but bringing the life out of it sometimes is missed. And I think this is a really good way to do that with everything that you've shown here. And I think this is the perfect country to add. If you could only add one country, I think this is the one that brings the liveliness and the excitement that people want to see.
Also, I was thinking like on New Year's, how fun it is, like all the different countries with like their own little party. And I just thought, God, could you imagine if Brazil had a spot on New Year's? Like that would be the place to be, the vibe, the dancing.
DJs, laser lights.
Everything.
The colors, the costumes.
Yeah, the colors.
Ladies with like those big feather dresses and I don't know what they're called, but the dancers and be amazing.
I'm just imagining like standing at the very front of World Showcase, looking out over the lagoon, and it's so beautiful. But then there's just like this burst of color and music coming from this one pavilion, and that's how I visualize this as a whole. Yeah,
I feel like the people there are just so special, and they're so proud of it too. And what a cool and unique way to like bring it all together for them. So,
I want to pose this question to both of you. Why do you think they haven't added anything in 35, 36 years, 37 years?
I think it's also, I don't want to go political, but I think also in some ways, like it is difficult to know that something is not going to be controversial later down the line. Or,
Right.
I mean, again, you're picking something that's a representation of people, and people can change their views and how they operate and all of that as well. So I think it's hard in that sense. And
Yeah.
then I think as well, like the investment backing. I think I've talked about this before. Like one of the companies I worked for, they had met with Disney about bringing a Brazilian pavilion to life, and I don't ultimately know what happened. It's obviously not happening as of now, at least. So like there is interest in doing it. I think Disney just has to be very, very, very certain on what they accept.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I also think, like, to your point, if Epcot didn't exist as it is, they would never create it today.
Never.
Right.
You know, this isn't a direction that Disney's going.
Mm-mm.
So I'm wondering if their eyes are more on preservation of what it is rather than addition to what it is, and more transforming it into a Disney-fied version that works for today, that takes the politics out of things, like by adding IP to it. It kind of removes things like that, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if their eyes are never to increase the representation, but more to Disneyfy what they have.
I was going to say also, World Showcase is not the biggest draw for kids. I know that we all loved it as kids, but especially in this day and age where they keep adding these huge new attractions based on IP to the other parks and different areas of the park, that I feel like World Showcase is just kind of left behind at this point. I think that they do a good job keeping up with it, but like you said, it would never be built today. There's just no way.
Right.
It doesn't
Epcot
fit.
It's an unusual and very unique concept. And for a first time visitor who doesn't have nostalgic ties to it, it can probably be a hard sell. I think what really makes it work is, for adults at least, is the idea of tasting food and drinking alcohol from other places in a short walk around a lake. So yeah, I think it's one of those things that we're just going to have to hope that maybe one day, but maybe it's not a direction they're going.
Yeah. Well, to wrap it all up, I'm proposing Brazil to be the newest country to enter the World Showcase Pavilion. This area will pay homage to the rich culture and architecture of the region. Whether you're looking for the latest technological thrill, steak that melts in your mouth, or maybe you've been dying to show off your samba skills, this pavilion has something for the whole family that will leave you feeling tudo bem.
You just hit all my check boxes. I need a thrill, a steak, and a dance.
I knew it. I was making this just for you.
And there I am.
Sounds like a night for you. Just any other night, really.
I would actually consider my dance to be tasty and thrilling. So for anyone watching.
Yeah, sure.
Just going to keep my mouth shut, guys. Just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yep.
Well, bom trabalho, which means good job. Good job on that, Katie.
Yeah, it was a great idea.
I'm so glad that we're finally incorporating Brazil into World Showcase. And enough about what we think, because we have a lot of thoughts, as you can see.
Go on for days.
But I want to know: are you coming to dance with me and samba around the new pavilion, riding a cappy? Let us know what you think on Thursday. We'll post a poll with a slider. You can tell us if you approve or disapprove of this attraction or of this pavilion.
I may be on summer vacation, but this teacher doesn't take breaks from reminding you all to follow us on Instagram at Idiots Imagineering. We have so much fun over there, so come be an honorary Imagine Idiot with us. And one last homework assignment for you. Please head on over and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Let your voice be heard.
Well, another fun episode in the books. Obrigado to my fellow idiots, Stephen and Marissa, for joining me on another fun one. And of course, muito obrigado to all of you for listening.
But remember, if you could dream it,
you can make a podcast about it. Até logo.
Até logo.
Ciao.
Bye. I'm here for the trinkets.
Yes, you are.
Is now a good time to tell the story of how she got her name?
I mean, why not?
We've never done it.
We're
Well,
really,
listeners,
we're really going to get listeners listening to this episode now because
You're in for
everyone
it,
wants to
listeners.
know.
So let's take you back to
What
year was it?
2015 or
14, 15,
I have no
16.
around that
idea.
time.
Art of Animation had recently opened. Marissa had purchased a keychain many years before that.
But let me let them know what it was. It was a Winnie the Pooh keychain. It was
like
metal.
it matters.
And there was like 4 little dangly things on there and different characters. And I had this keychain for a bit.
Since like 1975, she's had
It's
this
not that
keychain.
old.
She's had this keychain for years.
It's not that old. And I think I lost 2 of the little dangly charms. So I don't know who was left on my keychain, but some of Pooh and friends had taken a walk.
It was just Pooh.
They went back to the 100-acre wood.
They had enough.
Oh my God.
So this dilapidated, busted, used keychain. She says, you know what? I've heard that they'll exchange your item for a new one if it's damaged. And I'm over here thinking, like, surely she's joking. Like, it damaged. This is just normal wear and tear. Like,
life. This is life.
Just life happened. And she goes in and they did it. They exchanged this 6-year-old keychain.
It wasn't 6
for a
years
brand new one.
old. It was like a year.
It was a year-old keychain. They exchanged this, and we've never let her live it down to this day. And so we started calling her Keychain, which turned into Keech, which she hated for years.
But now she embraces it. She loves
finally
to be
embraced it.
I finally found it endearing.
It is.
We meant it to be endearing. Yeah, Keechy, Keech-teeny.
Keech-arena. Yep. There's all sorts of variations.
Keech.
If any of our listeners have a new variation they'd like to add, go for it.
Yeah, send us your Keech recommendations.
Keech it up.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. You may have heard us refer to her as Keech on the show before, because sometimes we don't notice it because that's what we actually call her. Like if we refer to her as Marissa, it's like not good.
No, it's serious.
Something bad has happened.
It's like when your parents are like yelling at you and full name you. That's what Marissa is to us.
One of our listeners had messaged me, I think, or they might have messaged, I don't know if it was on my personal or our idiots Instagram, and asked what that was about. I don't remember who it was though.
Well, they got an answer
a long time ago.
All I gotta say is you gotta be really careful with the things you do, because a nickname can sneak up on you and stick around.
10 years later, they're still talking about a keychain incident.
Yeah. We'll tell the story to anyone who will listen. Now you're forced to hear it.
I would just like
on her
to
tombstone, Marissa Keech.
The Disney company's customer service is out of this world, and it wasn't even a question. I literally just showed them my keychain and said, hey, this one's broken. I've had it. I saw you had this still. Can we just exchange them? And it was like, yeah, sure, no problem. It wasn't even thought that it was an issue.
Don't get any ideas, listeners, to go terrorize cast members now over.
A+ to Disney, but listeners don't do this.
Yeah. I remember
but really, good magical moment for them.
Steven literally walked away from the register.
I was so embarrassed. I had to run out of the store.
Yep.
And tell everyone he encountered the story. And now everyone on Disney property also calls me Keech. The end.
Yep.
And well, everyone listening.
This has gone completely off the rails, so I'm going to rail it back in right now. So